On this Tuesday edition of Live From. How are you?
Yeah, good.
Tell you what, I'm hearing a lot of exhales and seeing some big eyes as players try to describe the challenge of Pinehurst No. 2. How would you describe it?
Yeah, I'm one of those people for sure. I was here like 5 years ago, just played for fun, and it was right before the U.S. Amateur here, actually, just playing with a couple of buddies. And I just remember the course being soft. We played one step off the back on every hole, and it was long. And that was kind of the main takeaway that I took away from that day. But now when I come back and just see all the potential pin placements, I'm like, this could be pretty dicey. There's some hard spots out there.
Viktor, I was lucky enough to be assigned to your match at the Ryder Cup in Rome, your singles match on Sunday against Morikawa. And Colin played great, but you absolutely suffocated him with just how strong your game was. You know, when he hit a par 5 and 2 and he was 20 feet, you hit a par 5 and 2 and you hit it 10 feet closer. It was one of the most impressive performances I'd ever seen. You go on to win the FedEx Cup, and then you switched swing coaches. I'm like, man, what is he thinking? What did you learn from that whole process? You know, now I think you've switched back and sort of moving forward, sort of trying to settle your mechanics. But I saw you working earlier in this year on the new stuff, and you put in about 7 hours on the range, because I was there working on some trying to get, not as much as you, but trying to work on my own game. But you certainly can garner things from these processes. What did you take away from it?
Yeah, hey, it's a journey. I just kind of like the process of getting better. Probably a little bit too much, but I felt like it was a necessary route for me to go down and just see. I think just like I'm just such a curious guy that, like, when you wonder what's on the other side of the door, you just kind of want to peek through it. And I think peeking is fine, but I probably just ran through the wall. But I think I learned a lot about myself and what not to do, what to do, and kind of what makes my game tick. And I feel like now I'm in an even better spot mentally than I was last year, even though I'm not playing quite as good yet, but I think we're on the right track, and I'm just super excited about the next few years and the future.
Fantastic.
I remember at Bay Hill earlier this year, Viktor, you said you described yourself as very inquisitive, and you've always been that way, and that's what's gotten you to this point in the game. How difficult is it to maintain a sense of discipline when you are tempted to go see what's behind the door? And is there a point where you have to remind yourself that a little bit of discipline is required in terms of how much information you want to take on board?
Sure. That's always a challenge, but I would like to believe that the more information you gather and the smarter you become, you also close a lot of doors. Yeah. So a lot of ideas or opportunities or avenues to go down, they kind of go away because a lot of them are dumb or foolish, or it just doesn't work for me. So, but that's also the tricky side, is that a lot of the doors you close, the doors that remain there seem even more interesting to go through or see what's on the other side. So I think that's kind of the other side to that. But now, as we talked about the last 6 months, I feel like I close a lot of doors, and there aren't that many doors remaining. I feel like I know exactly what I need to do to fill the remaining holes in my games, and there aren't that many places, or like, I'm not going to skew too far off of that process going forward. So now I can put all my time and energy into kind of one direction, and should hopefully see that the results kind of improve.
Let's keep the door analogy going. PGA Championship, 68, 66, 66, 66. Was that a moment for you, crossing a threshold, gaining some trust ahead of a week like this?
Yeah, I mean, that was big. After not playing very good all year, to finding kind of one feel that made me hit the ball a little bit better, and I was just able to take that and almost win a major championship. So I was really proud of that, just taking a lot of positives from that week, because that didn't feel like my best stuff at all. Like, I was uncomfortable over the ball, but the ball was going straighter and straighter and straighter. So then I can play with that. And then I chipped it well and I putted it well. So I just think that's really cool to see after 1 week of getting back together with Joe, and we already saw massive improvements right away. So if we just keep spending time together and keep working on the right stuff, we're gonna. I think we're gonna do some good stuff.
One of the huge improvements that you and Joe made was in your short game, and it was very noticeable in watching that match with Morikawa. Some of the up and downs you made were remarkable. And having such a challenge here around these green complexes, is there anything specific that you're working on to sort of address, these difficult chips that you're going to be facing?
Yeah, I think we kind of spent yesterday trying out all the different shots. It wasn't like, oh, I'm just going to putt everywhere and then stop it at that. I try to kind of hit some higher spinning shots, some lower spinning shots, and kind of concluded that the higher spinning shots, yes, you might pull them off and it looks really good and you can get it really close to some pin locations. But I think the more balls I put down and try to hit the same shot multiple times in a row, it's just very, very difficult because of the grain. So I think with that grain around the greens, it's just very easy to look like a fool. So I think the lower kind of driving, spinning shot is going to be very, very important, or I'm just going to putt it a lot. So I don't know quite how that, if it'll be like 50-50 maybe, chipping and putting, but I definitely see myself hitting a lot of like lower driving, spinning shots into around the greens here.
We were just having a discussion on how guys react to coming from a tough test like Memorial, where a lot of guys got beaten up over the course of the weekend coming in here. Is that a confidence builder in the sense that you've gone through the ringer a little bit, or does it kind of knock you for six a little bit if you don't have a good weekend?
I think mentally it maybe prepares you that you're in that frame of thinking where, pars are good, middle of the greens are good, you don't try to press too much. I think if you play just a bunch of easy courses and you're shooting 20 under par, you can kind of go to sleep a little bit when you come to a place like this. Because I think, you got to be extremely conservative going into some of these greens. And it's so easy with a pitching wedge that, oh, I'm going to take this on and make a birdie, and you miss it by 2 yards, you're over the green, and you're staring at bogey or double in the face. So I think, sure, it helps you a little bit, but it can also give you some scar tissue as well.
Yeah, no one's going to sleep at Pinehurst. This is the nightmare.
Up at night. I'll tell you, one of the conversations that happens throughout the year in golf is the best player without a major championship. That's a box that Xander Schauffele probably checked last month at the PGA Championship. How do you see yourself among the best players without a major championship? By official World Golf ranking, you are. How do you approach that conversation?
Yeah. I'm not going to rank myself, but
okay.
I've only been out here for 5 years and already had a chance to compete for a few major championships, and I think it's just really cool to see that I've grown every single year, and I feel like I'm getting closer and closer and closer. So that's just really cool. I'd like to win one soon, but I'm just kind of focused on improving the things that I got to improve, and hopefully I give myself more opportunities, and one of these days the putts will kind of drop my way, and we'll get one of them done.
And as far as your approach toward the golf course, you talked about the green complexes, but in terms of tee to green, what's been your impression with Pinehurst? It's such a unique design that we typically don't see regularly, that takes maybe a little bit of an understanding of just kind of how to navigate some of these areas.
Yeah, I think there's a really good mix of holes. I still haven't, obviously I played here once before, but I still haven't seen the back nine yet, so I don't remember too much, but I feel like there's a really good mix of some long, tough par fours, which we usually see in the U.S. Open, but at the same time, there's some shorter holes as well where you kind of have to position yourself off the tee. You can hit driver, but you probably won't see too many drivers on those holes. And even if you have wedges, the green complexes are really, really tough. So there's still drama on the short holes as well. So I think it's an exceptional golf course. Yeah, it's going to test every single part of your game. I think off the tee, generally, you can be pretty aggressive off the tee. I think you're going to have to drive it really well to be in contention this week. But into the green, I think you're going to have to be pretty conservatively, just hit as many greens as possible. I think that's where the tournament's going to be won.
When the perception is that the closer you get to the business end of the hole, the more difficult this golf course gets, does that change how you prepare for this week over today and tomorrow before you get to that tee shot on Thursday?
Meaning like
in terms of where you're going to put emphasis on your preparation work for this tournament?
It doesn't really change too much for me. I think I'm just kind of working on my personal goals and the things that I need to improve on. I'm just going to keep working on those. I do think like making sure the reads are right, the speed is right on the greens, and just, you know, paying attention to how much firmer the greens get closer to Thursday, you know, that sort of stuff. But as of overall kind of work goals and stuff like that, I'm doing that stuff every day just to make sure that it's pushing in the right direction, and I'm hitting the shots and hitting the windows that I wanted to.
How about your tee time? Late early alongside Bryson DeChambeau, who brings the circus to the party, as you know, and Max Home was playing very well. Does that affect your preparation at all in terms of the time or who you're going to be playing with?
No, I mean, I'd like to think that as a professional, I don't let like whoever I'm playing with affect me, but it does on an unconscious level, I think, regardless. But I think it'll be cool. Like Bryson's style is very unique, and it's kind of fun to see him play golf. And Max is also a really good player. I play with him on Sunday, and it'll be interesting to see kind of how they handle this golf course. But I'll try to focus on my own game as best I can.
When you left Valhalla, did you leave with, was it more disappointment that you were so close and put yourself in the mix, or was it the positive that you found form that hadn't been there for a couple of months for you?
Oh, I was pumped. You know, I can't be too upset. Like it was sure I would have liked to make the putt on 17 and 18, and think, oh, what then? What would have happened then? But it's like, okay, I was pretty far away just a couple weeks before the PGA, and I made a mistake by admitting that I almost didn't show up to PGA and not playing. Yeah. So, you know, plot twist to have a chance to win the tournament. Like, I mean, how can I not be pumped about that result? So, sure, at the end of the day, like, if that's the last major I play in my life, like, yeah, I'd be disappointed I didn't win it. But at the same time, I'm just super pumped about the future and just kind of coming back to playing some good golf again and see what I'm going to be able to do.
We could talk to you all afternoon long. I know you got a major championship to prepare for. Victor, thanks so much for stopping by, and best luck this week.
Got it. Thank you, guys.
Here he is, FedEx Cup championship winner.